During the Clone War, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka traveled to the monolithic world of Mortis, a place that was a powerful conduit for the Force. On Mortis, these Jedi would come into contact with the Ones, with the son and daughter embodying the dark and light sides of the Force respectively, and the father who kept the balance between them. Recently, we looked at Darth Plagueis' thoughts on Mortis and the three gods who resided there, finding that the Dark Lord rejected the planet and its three all-powerful beings as literal truth. For Plagueis, the tale of Mortis was an allegory that fit within the Jedi tradition of storytelling and bolstered their false belief in a coming Chosen One. But in Legends, there was a Force user who not only traveled to Mortis and met the three gods there, just as Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka had, but did so thousands of years before them. In this video expose, I will describe the story of Xendor's travels to Mortis and explain his thoughts on the three all-powerful beings he met there. Born roughly 24,500 years before the outbreak of the Clone War, Xendor was a Force-sensitive human male who was connected with the ancient Kashi-Mur dynasty. However, he was ultimately exiled from the planet of Kashi after it was found that he was beginning to embrace the dark side of the Force, or what they called Bogan. After being exiled, Xendor took refuge on the Jedi world of Ossus in the Outer Rim, and began his transition into becoming a Jedi, eventually becoming a respected knight within the Order. However, Xendor was still unable to let go of his interest in the dark side, and his frustration grew into outspoken criticism of the Jedi and the refusal to study the darker elements of the Force, as well as their steadfast rejection of all other Force traditions. Eventually, Xendor approached the High Council and sought their approval to open up his own Jedi Academy, which would operate off-world and would focus on the dark side elements of the Force. When the Council refused his offer, Xendor left the Order and traveled to the planet of Leto, beginning the academy he desired. At some point during his life, again, millennia before the Clone War, Xendor would travel to Mortis and come into contact with the three all-powerful beings who resided there. Although he wouldn't know the planet as Mortis, but simply a dead planet, as we'll see, it's clear the planet he traveled to was Mortis. The galaxy only learned of Xendor's experience with the Mortis gods through the information provided by his lover Arden Lyn. Having been placed in stasis by an ability known as Force Trance during her lifetime, Arden was reawakened millennia later during the era of the Galactic Empire. This allowed her to relay the information she received from Xendor regarding Mortis. Xendor recognized that the three powerful beings on Mortis were divine beings, with a son and daughter manifesting themselves as the dark and light sides respectively. Interestingly, as explained by Arden, Xendor saw the father not simply as a representation of balance, but one of the Force itself. This created the possibility that Xendor believed the natural state of the Force was one that held the light and dark in balance, thereby explaining his interest in opening himself up to the dark side. Regardless, the existence of the triad of divine beings didn't work to alter his philosophy, as the Mortis gods represented only one of many truths regarding the Force, just like his own beliefs or that of the Jedi. Ultimately, having greatly expanded his academy on Leto, which would become the Legions of Leto, Xendor would be forced into open conflict against the Jedi when the Order's High Council declared war on him and his Legion. This conflict would become known as the First Great Schism, with battles taking place on Ossus, Chandrila, and Coruscant. Xendor would eventually fall in the Battle of Calamus, thereby allowing the Jedi to emerge victorious in the war and bring a violent end to the Legions of Leto. So there we have it, how a Force user met the Mortis gods thousands of years before the Clone War. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel, or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive rewards and discussions. If not for me, for peace and justice.